Gravity. It's an idea that people treat as casual because we experience it every day and it's self-explanatory.
But the concept of gravity is like an iceberg. It's thin and shallow from the outside but deep and thick from the inside. Hi, my name is Mehdi Barramou and I'm here today to discuss the concepts of gravity with you. First of all, let's ask the obvious question. What is gravity? Normally if you ask anybody on the street, they would just say gravity is the fact that when you go up, you go down. Well, that is true, it's only scratching the surface. For starters, gravity is not a fact, it's a force. And second of all, it's one of the four fundamental forces of the universe. It's actually the weakest, but the most dominant.
But since gravity is really an underestimated concept, people don't pay that much attention to it and can miss out on a lot of stuff.
And here's a common misunderstanding that I surprisingly found frequently, and that is that size affects mass, which is clearly not true, people. Those things don't even relate. If you can see it from this equation, volume isn't there. Now, the best way to correct that is by having a better perspective of the word mass. Mass is not the thing, mass is the amount of matter inside the thing. So if you compare a soccer ball to a bowling ball, those things have the same size, but definitely not the same mass. So I hear you ask, how can mass affect gravity? We all know that gravity is all about pulling, not pushing, so how come the sun doesn't pull us all inside of it since it has more mass than any other planet in the solar system? Well, okay, I understand your doubts, but let me clarify that with an example. Let's take the moon and Earth for instance. The moon doesn't have the same mass of Earth, clearly, and doesn't have the same gravitational pull. So how do those two things maintain a balance in space? And that is because Earth isn't the only one doing the action here. The moon is fighting back, the moon is pulling too. So when you compare it to an arm wrestling game between a wrestler and an average person, the wrestler will eventually win, but the average person will have enough strength to maintain balance for an instant, and they'll let it go because he will get exhausted.
But since planets don't get tired, we should be fine.
And if you have any doubts, the things that are weak enough to get pulled to Earth are called meteorites. So, if you learned anything from my video, please make sure to vote for me and get me a step closer to space camp. My name is Mehdi Barramou and this was my time. Salam.